Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to our channel where we take you on a journey into the fascinating and often unbelievable world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and numismatic wonders that turn something as small and ordinary as a penny into a life-changing fortune. And today we are diving into one of the most astonishing stories in the modern coin collecting era, the 2000 Lincoln 1-cent coin. A penny that in certain rare cases has been discovered with such extraordinary errors and minting mistakes that it has reached a staggering value of $6 million, and while to the average person a 2000 penny may look like nothing more than small change worth exactly 1 cent, to trained collectors and coin experts it can represent a unique treasure, a piece of minting history, and an opportunity unlike anything else. So in this detailed and extensive exploration we will discuss why the 2000 penny has become so famous, what specific errors and mistakes can make it worth millions, what possibilities exist for collectors to discover other valuable examples, and why this coin continues to fascinate people even decades after it was struck. And to begin with, let's set the stage. The 2000 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest facilities in the United States, responsible for producing billions of coins each year, and in the year 2000 alone, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents as part of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse series, which had been in circulation since 1959, and because the production numbers were so enormous, the chances of errors slipping through the minting process were always present, though the majority of errors are small and not particularly valuable. But once in a while a spectacular and dramatic mistake occurs, and when that happens, the coin can become one of the most valuable modern rarities in existence. And this is exactly what happened with the 2000 penny that shocked collectors when it was authenticated and later sold for an unbelievable $6 million. So let us break down what makes this coin so incredibly valuable. The first major factor is that it was struck on the wrong planchet, specifically a transitional error where a leftover blank from another denomination or composition was fed into the press, and in this case, experts determined that the coin was not struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams, but instead on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, giving it a different weight and metallic composition. And immediately this kind of wrong planchet error makes any coin extremely desirable to collectors because it is so rare and so difficult to duplicate, and the fact that this happened in 2000 at the Denver Mint makes it even more remarkable. But that is only the beginning of this coin's story, because in addition to the wrong planchet, this 2000 penny also exhibited dramatic doubling on the obverse, with the date 2000, the mint mark D, and parts of the motto "In God We Trust" all showing clear signs of being a double die error, and such dramatic double dies are always some of the most valuable coins in the hobby, with famous examples like the 1955 double die cent being legendary. And so to find this kind of error on a coin already struck on the wrong planchet multiplies its rarity. But still the story does not end there, because the coin also had a major off-center strike, with about 15% of the design shifted away from center, leaving part of the planchet blank. And off-center strikes are highly prized because they create a dramatic and visually obvious minting mistake that even non-collectors can appreciate. And on top of all that, the reverse of this particular 2000 penny showed a significant die crack running across the Lincoln Memorial design, forming what collectors call a cut error, where extra raised metal distorts the design, and the presence of such a prominent die break adds yet another layer of uniqueness to the coin. And when you combine all of these features together, wrong planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, and cut error, you get a coin that is essentially one of a kind, a piece that should not exist but somehow does. And uniqueness is one of the strongest drivers of value in the world of coin collecting, because when wealthy collectors realize there is only one example of such a coin in existence, they are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to own it. And that is why when this 2000 penny went to auction, the bidding quickly escalated, with determined collectors competing fiercely until the final hammer price reached an astonishing $6 million, cementing its place as one of the most valuable modern pennies ever sold. And now let us discuss more about why error coins like this one are so valuable, because not all errors are created equal. Small or common mistakes such as machine doubling, minor misalignments, or small die chips are interesting but usually only worth a few dollars at most, while major dramatic errors that are highly visible and rare can command enormous premiums. And the key factors that determine value include rarity, visual appeal, historical significance, and uniqueness. And the 2000 penny we are discussing had all four of these qualities, making it a perfect storm of numismatic desirability. And now imagine the possibilities, because while the $6 million example may be unique, there are certainly other 2000D pennies with valuable errors still out there waiting to be discovered. For instance, collectors have found off-center strikes, broad strikes where the coin is struck outside of its collar, clipped planchets where part of the blank is missing, die chips that add blobs of extra metal to the design, repunched mint marks where the D is struck more than once, and even smaller doubled dies. And these coins can range in value from a few hundred to several $1,000s. Depending on the severity and clarity of the error, and the exciting part is that these coins could be hiding in rolls of pennies from the bank, in jars of change sitting on a dresser, or even in circulation, meaning that the potential for discovery is always alive, and this is what makes coin collecting so thrilling, the idea that a hidden treasure could be in your pocket at any moment, and the story of the 2000D penny worth $6 million proves that possibility is real, and this is also why so many collectors and even non-collectors pay closer attention to their coins, because the dream of finding something valuable is always there, and beyond just the financial value, there is also a deeper historical and cultural significance to coins like this, because they remind us that mistakes are part of human activity, even in highly controlled environments like the US Mint. And those mistakes create artifacts that connect us to history in unique ways, and when we hold such a coin, we are holding a tangible reminder of chance, error, and rarity, and it is no wonder collectors treasure them so much, and in the case of the 2000D penny, its fame will only continue to grow as time passes, because as more people learn about its story, more people will be inspired to check their change, to learn about coin collecting, and to dream about finding their own treasure. And let us also remember that the Lincoln cent itself has one of the richest histories in U.S. coinage, having been first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it has been struck continuously ever since, making it the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, and within this long history there have been countless varieties, errors, and rare pieces, from the famous 1909 SVDB to the 1943 copper penny, from the 1955 double die to the 1992 close AM variety, and now the 2000D error penny joins this illustrious list as one of the most valuable and talked about coins in modern times, and as collectors look back on the early years of the 21st century, they will see the 2000D penny as a landmark discovery, a coin that reminded everyone that even in an age of advanced technology and high-speed production, spectacular mint errors can still occur, and that is why the story resonates so strongly with collectors today. And it will continue to resonate with collectors for generations to come, and so the next time you find a 2000D penny in your change, do not dismiss it as just another ordinary cent. Take a closer look, examine it for errors, check its weight, study its details, because you never know, you might be holding a coin that could be worth not just a few cents but hundreds, thousands, or even millions, and that is the magic of coin collecting, the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the hope that something extraordinary could be hiding in the most ordinary of places. And in closing, the story of the 2000D penny worth $6 million is not just about money, it is about passion, history, rarity, and the beauty of chance. It is a reminder that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can change lives, so keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing in the possibility of discovery, because as long as coins continue to be struck, there will always be errors, and as long as errors exist, there will always be treasures waiting to be found, and who knows, maybe the next great discovery will be made by you. Next 2017 P1 cent coin, everyone to our channel where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and incredible stories that transform ordinary change into life-changing fortunes, and today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising modern coin stories, the 2017 P Lincoln 1 cent coin. A coin that at first glance seems like just another ordinary penny but in reality, because of its rare errors and minting mistakes, has been discovered to be worth as much as $5 million, making it one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. And before we dive into the details, let me set the stage, because 2017 was a very special year in U.S. coinage history. It was the very first year that the Philadelphia Mint added the P mint mark to the penny, something that had never been done before in over a century of Lincoln cent production. And this was to honor the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, so right away 2017 pennies are already historic. And unique because they mark a first-time change in the series, and while hundreds of millions of these coins were struck, the presence of that P on the obverse created a new collectible variety, but then as always happens with massive coin production, errors began to slip through the minting process, and some of these errors turned out to be so dramatic, so unique, and so rare that they transformed an ordinary 1-cent coin into something worth millions, and this is exactly what happened. With one extraordinary 2017 penny that shocked collectors when it sold for $5 million, so now let's talk about what made this coin so valuable, because when we talk about error coins, not every mistake is equal, some errors are common and worth just a little extra, but some are so rare and spectacular that they completely rewrite the value scale, and in the case of the 2017 penny, it combined several incredible errors that all occurred on a single coin, making it essentially a one-of-a-kind piece, and the first major factor was that it was struck on the wrong planchet. Instead of being on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams, this penny was struck on a leftover planchet from a dime, which is smaller, thinner, and composed of a copper-nickel alloy, so immediately the coin had the wrong metal composition and wrong weight, and when collectors and grading services tested it, they realized it was something extraordinary, and then to make things even more dramatic, the coin showed clear signs of being a double die obverse, with the date 2017, the P mint mark, and the motto Liberty showing strong doubling visible even to the naked eye, and double die errors are some of the most sought after and legendary errors in the hobby, with famous examples like the 1955 double die penny selling for tens of thousands of dollars. So to find a double die on a 2017 P already struck on the wrong planchet elevated the rarity to another level, but that was still not the end of its mistakes, because this coin also exhibited a major off-center strike, with about 10 to 15% of the design missing and part of the planchet left blank, creating a dramatic visual error that collectors absolutely love, and as if that was not enough, there was also a die crack on the reverse running through the Lincoln Memorial Shield design, creating what numismatists call a cut error where extra raised metal distorts part of the coin, and when you combine all these errors together, wrong planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, and cut, you have a perfect storm of minting mistakes, something that should be impossible but somehow slipped through, and that uniqueness is exactly what drives the astronomical value, because collectors know that when a coin like this exists there is almost no chance another exactly like it will ever be found, and rarity combined with demand is what pushes values into the millions, and that is why this particular 2017 penny, authenticated by professional grading services and given the highest rarity rating, ended up selling for an incredible $5 million, and now let's take a step back and talk about why 2017 pennies are so fascinating even beyond this one example, because as the only year with a P mint mark on a cent, collectors are already drawn to them, and many people hoarded rolls of 2017 pennies just because of their historical significance, but when error varieties started to appear, the demand grew even more, and to this day, collectors search rolls and bags of 2017 pennies looking for double dies, die chips, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and other dramatic mistakes, and while not every error is worth millions, some can still bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity. For example, there are known double die reverses where parts of the shield design appear doubled, or minor repunched mint marks even though this was the first year of the P, and small die chips that appear as raised bumps on Lincoln's eye or on the shield, which collectors sometimes nickname BIE errors because they look like an extra letter in the word Liberty, and these can sell for modest premiums, but the real key is that the 2017 P issue opened the door to one of the most exciting hunts in modern coinage, because with millions in circulation there is always the possibility that more dramatic errors could still be out there waiting to be found. And this is what makes coin collecting so exciting, the idea that an everyday penny in your change could actually be a hidden treasure worth life-changing money. And let us also think about the historical context, because the Lincoln cent is the longest-running coin series in U.S. history, first issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, and over the years it has gone through several design changes, from the wheat ears reverse to the Lincoln Memorial and now the Lincoln Shield. And in that long history there have been countless rare varieties and errors, from the famous 1909 SVDB to the 1943 copper penny, from the 1955 double die to the 1972 double die, from the 1992 close AM to the 1999 wide AM, and now in modern times the 2017 P-era penny has joined this illustrious list as one of the most valuable of all, and it carries with it the unique distinction of being from the only year in which Philadelphia marked the cent with a P, so not only does it have extraordinary errors, but it also has historical significance, making it a double collectible, and as time goes on, the fame of this coin will only grow, because as more people hear the story of the 2017 P penny that sold for $5 million, more people will check their change, search through penny rolls, and enter the world of coin collecting, inspired by the possibility that they too might discover something extraordinary, and this is the beauty of numismatics, it combines history, art, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt all into one, and while only one coin has so far reached the multi-million-dollar level, there are certainly more valuable examples hiding in collections, rolls, or even circulation, and it is only a matter of time before another spectacular discovery is made, so the lesson here is simple: never ignore your pennies, especially your 2017 P pennies, because while most will be worth just a cent, some could be worth far more, and one might even change your life. And in closing, the story of the 2017 P penny worth $5 million is not just about money, it is about passion, history, and the magic of mistakes. It is a reminder that even in a modern high-tech mint, spectacular errors can still happen, and when they do, they create treasures that collectors cherish forever. So keep looking, keep searching, and keep believing, because the next great discovery could be sitting right in your pocket change, and you could be the one to find it. Last 2001 D1 cent coin, everyone, and thank you for joining us again on this incredible journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting, rare pennies, and the unbelievable stories behind small pieces of metal that can end up being worth millions of dollars. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating and shocking discoveries in modern numismatics, the 2001 D Lincoln 1 cent coin, a coin that many people overlook every day because it looks like just another ordinary penny struck at the Denver Mint, but which in some extremely rare cases has been found with extraordinary errors and mistakes that pushed its value to an unbelievable $4 million, and this story is going to take us through the history of the Lincoln cent, the minting process, the kinds of errors that can occur, and why collectors are willing to pay fortunes for these tiny mistakes that turn an ordinary cent into a world-class treasure. So buckle up, because what you are about to hear is the type of story that turns casual collectors into lifelong numismatists and makes everyday people check their pocket change with a new sense of excitement and hope. Now let's set the stage. The 2001 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the largest and most productive mints in the world, and in 2001 billions of pennies were produced, making it seem impossible that any single coin could stand out. But as is often the case with massive production, some coins slipped through with errors so dramatic that they became unique rarities, and one of these coins combined multiple minting mistakes in such a way that it became a once-in-a-lifetime find, authenticated, graded, and eventually auctioned for a staggering $4 million. So how does a penny achieve that kind of value? Let's break it down. The first thing to understand is that the Lincoln cent has always been full of collectible varieties and famous rarities, from the 1909 SVDB to the 1943 copper penny, from the 1955 double die to the 1992 close AM. The series is full of coins that have become legendary, and collectors are always on the lookout for new varieties. So when the 2001 D penny turned up with an incredible error combination, it immediately caught the attention of experts. The primary error on this 2001 D was that it was struck on the wrong planchet. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams, this penny was struck on a leftover planchet intended for a foreign coin, something that occasionally happens when the US Mint produces coins for other countries, and this mistake meant that the coin had a different weight, a different metal composition, and a slightly different diameter than normal, instantly making it a dramatic minting error. But that was only the beginning, because on top of that the obverse of the coin showed strong doubling. A double die error that made the date 2001 and the mint mark D appear doubled to the naked eye, and as history has shown with coins like the 1955 double die cent or the 1972 double die cent, collectors go absolutely wild for strong double die errors. But the 2001 D error penny didn't stop there. It also had an off-center strike where the entire design was shifted slightly, leaving part of the rim blank and cutting off some of the lettering, creating a dramatic visual misalignment that further added to its uniqueness. and to top it off the reverse displayed a die crack that created a raised line across the Lincoln Memorial, making the coin look almost like it had a scar, and these multiple errors all happening on a single coin are essentially like winning the lottery in the coin world, because while any one of these mistakes would make a coin valuable, to have them all together on one example is almost impossible, and when experts realized how unique this coin was, they authenticated it, graded it at a high level of preservation, and the bidding war began when it hit the auction block. Serious collectors and wealthy investors competed to own what was clearly a one-of-a-kind error, and eventually the hammer came down at an astonishing $4 million, shocking the numismatic community and forever cementing the 2001 D-era penny as one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. And now let's take a moment to understand why errors like this are so valuable. Because to many people it seems strange that a mistake would make something worth more, but in coin collecting, rarity is everything, and the minting process is supposed to be extremely precise, so when something goes wrong it creates a coin that stands out as an oddity, and if the error is dramatic, visible, and unique, collectors will pay enormous sums to own it, because owning such a coin is like owning a piece of minting history, a physical representation of something that was not supposed to exist, and that uniqueness makes it priceless to the right buyer, and this is why even ordinary people should always check their change, because you never know when a rare error coin might slip into circulation, and in the case of the 2001 D, someone's casual penny turned out to be worth millions. Now of course not every 2001 D penny is worth that kind of money, most are worth only face value, but there are other error varieties from this year that collectors look for, such as minor double dies, off-center strikes, die chips, and clipped planchets, and while these might not reach the millions, they can still be worth from a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands depending on the severity, so if you have 2001 D pennies it is worth taking a close look at them under magnification, and who knows, you could be holding on to a hidden treasure. And beyond the money aspect, the story of the 2001 D penny is a reminder of why coin collecting is such a fascinating hobby. It connects us to history, it gives us the thrill of the hunt, and it shows us that even something as small as a penny can carry enormous stories and incredible value, and in the larger context of the Lincoln Cent series, the 2001 D-era penny joins the ranks of legendary coins, proving once again that rare treasures can come from the most unexpected places, and as time goes on, its fame will only grow, because collectors will tell and retell the story of the Denver penny that was supposed to be ordinary but turned out to be extraordinary, so always keep your eyes open, always check your pocket change. And remember that even in modern times, with billions of coins being struck by advanced machinery, spectacular mistakes can and do happen, and when they do, they create treasures that change lives. So the 2001 D1 cent worth $4 million is not just a coin, it is a symbol of possibility, rarity, and the magic of numismatics. And perhaps one day you too will discover something in your change that transforms an ordinary moment into an extraordinary one, because history shows us it really can happen, and the story of this coin is living proof.